Hello and welcome to On the Move. We are Matt and Betsy, and we have relocated our family from London, Ontario to Belfast, Prince Edward Island, Canada. And we thought today we'd give you just a little bit of an update on how that has been going. What should we start with? Jobs?
Yeah, let's do jobs. You go ahead and tell them what you've been up to.
So I was very fortunate when we came. If you look back in some of these episodes, you'll know that I came and was able to get a contract at a school. That's a limited amount of time working as a music teacher. And that contract ended at the beginning of May. So I've been, for the first time in my life, and I'm very fortunate to be able to say this.
A decade of teaching?
Yeah, after a decade of teaching, the first time I'm acting as a substitute. And I'm enjoying it. I think the most noticeable part is I come home at the end of the day and it's not, okay, what am I doing next day? I've got free headspace because I don't have to plan what's happening the next day. I just have to show up and do what they tell me.
You do need to, however, do a little bit of mapping sometimes to make sure you know where you're going.
Yes, yeah, the very first couple of days I go out the driveway and depending where I'm going, it's left or right. And the very first time I went, wrong direction and I was just on autopilot to go back to where I had been going before.
So. And I think I also helped once or twice about just mentioning, oh, well, if you're doing this age category, maybe you want to throw your puppets in, maybe throw your ukulele in, just because even if you have the most thorough planned teacher, there are going to be those little moments in a day that you may need to just fill some space and time. So having your toolkit full is helpful. But he seems to be enjoying it. I would agree with that.
It's been nice. Yeah, I don't think that I would want to do this permanently, but for now, until the end of the school year, I'm happy to do so.
Yeah, and it's giving you a good little introduction to a lot of our local schools. So this way you can get a feel for whether it's a large school, a small school,
and I definitely noticed the difference between schools that are out here in the country that are very small. We're talking like 150 kids. To schools that are in town or that's Charlottetown, where they can be upwards of 450. This is at like the elementary level I'm talking here.
You're just going to have a different feel. It's just automatic. So so
it's
giving you that kind of opportunity. And then you continue to watch and see what there is for applying.
Yes, we're in the process right now. They're doing the teacher shuffle between places and different jobs. And so I'm not that high up on the totem pole, which means I kind of have to wait till that shuffle happens to see what
before he can apply. He has to essentially wait for his turn to apply. So that's what he's been up to.
Your job is much more interesting.
Much more interesting. But anyway, I am excited to share with you that I have been hired at Fleece and Harmony. Yay! So now I have taken what I love and one of my passions in life, and I am learning the process truly from start to finish.
Working with wool.
Working with wool, I was going to say. So I have now been experiencing, I started at the beginning. So those of you who may have shown up here today to see sheep shearing, just go back a video and you'll find it there at Fleece and Harmony. So I started right at the sheep shearing, and the last couple of weeks I've been learning about that beginning processing of that raw wool, washing it, cleaning it, sending it through various different machines. It is quite a process, so I will not go into all the detail, but there are multiple steps of taking this tiny little fiber piece and turning it into yarn, and it all fascinates me. I find it quite interesting. It is fairly repetitive, but I'm okay with that. It's also it has a lot of markers along the way that you can feel accomplishment for. So that's something I've learned about myself that I appreciate in a job, is just having goals. There's lots of points that you can be like, okay, by the end of today, I want to have this completed. And then you can walk away at the end of the day feeling as though you've completed something, which is very different from my last quote unquote career of doing foster care and caring for babies, which one must live in the mindset that you are a long-term investment, because the progress that you make working with small children can feel infinitesimal on a daily basis, but you just have to have faith that you know you're in it for the long term. So this is a very different mindset, and I think I'm doing well so far. I love who I'm working with. That makes a huge difference. They are wonderful people to work for. Warm, kind, patient, great teachers. So that's what I've been up to. So I'm doing that. It's 3 days a week.
And she brought home sheep manure.
I've been
For the
joking.
garden.
Yeah, on the weekend I went and traded biscotti for poop.
Yeah.
Sheep poop.
Mm-hmm.
So for the garden, which is also something that you've been up to.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, as we've headed definitely into late spring, early summer around here, we've picked up some outdoor activities.
Yeah. Now
which...
we're not gardeners by any
No.
means.
No.
But like I like being in the kitchen, so
Yes.
that's the incentive to put like herbs and things in. So I've been
Which
putting.
you've had for the last couple of years. You do a
Yes.
little herb.
I can do basil. That's where I stop.
It grows basil very well.
Yeah.
We have tried multiple times to do raspberries. They did take off in the first time we tried,
True.
but at that point we had a daycare going on in our backyard. So the daycare children would often
we weren't fighting the birds. We were fighting the daycare
toddlers,
kids.
the preschoolers, which was fine. And then the last time it was rabbits. We were fighting rabbits. We would plant our raspberry bushes and they would just eat the bush before it had a chance to really take off.
Yeah.
That and walnut
trees.
Yeah, that were poisoning it from below. So anyway, we haven't even attempted raspberries out here.
Yeah.
But you've put in the beginning of your herb garden.
And we started. So we're on about an acre of property, a little bit more here. And so we've been trying to decide what we're going to do in the way of mowing our lawn. They have no mow May in Prince Edward Island. A lot of people subscribe to it, and we attempted to. We made it most of the way.
Yeah. And then I got scared of ticks for my dogs, so I decided to take some of it down.
Yeah, with a little like
push mower.
Yeah, 24-inch push mower. Our neighbors didn't like that.
So they shared their 0-point turn.
Yeah.
Which was a fantastic wild ride for me. Next time maybe I'll drive it.
I stayed out of it.
A little bit slower.
Yeah, she was moving on that thing. You weren't you pulling up dirt when you were taking corners?
Maybe. You should have maybe taken a video, or not. Maybe I didn't want to see what it looked like. Anyway, we will continue to learn how to care for a larger property. The great thing about being out here, I will not feel some of that peer pressure, because to allow your lawn to grow a little longer is fine. It's not like we'll have to be doing every few days mow the lawn kind of thing.
And there's no competition to get rid of dandelions or anything.
No, just let them grow. Let them grow. Anyway, I won't sing for you. Oh my golly, we might have to edit that out. My apologies. So along with that, we also have had my parents a few years ago gifted us a trampoline for our girls. It's a fairly heavy-duty trampoline. So
rectangular, not
rectangular, not round.
Is better than round, I learned.
Yeah, you get better height and jump on it. And something I had growing up, so something I was excited to provide for my girls. A little different in the world of safety. I grew up without it netted. This one has a safety net that goes around it, so just a little peace of mind for that. However, out here, what our concern was, we've talked several times about being up on a hill and getting wind that we have never experienced before. So we had to do a little bit of research before we set this thing up to make sure we weren't just putting a sail on our lawn. Well,
it essentially is a sail.
It is. But so we needed to figure out how we were going to tie it down.
Yeah.
So you did the research on that.
Yeah, well, we initially thought we had this idea that we were going to do like buckets. We were going to do anchors that were like cement filled with some sort of rebar in it that we could hook into. But that we were dragging our feet on it because that was going to be a lot
of work.
A lot of work to do.
And also very permanent in some ways as to where you put them in. That's where you'd have to put the trampoline. It is nice to be able to.
We thought maybe we could take the buckets out kind of thing, but then you've got this hole of dirt and. So I decided to do some more research, and it turns out this is a common problem.
Which, had we thought about it,
I know.
Obviously there's other places in the world with wind.
So you get these corkscrews that are 16-inch corkscrews that you screw into the ground and then you strap down with that. And there's
hurricane strapping.
Essentially, to try to keep it. And so far it hasn't moved.
So far so good. So hopefully we will not be sitting here telling a story of the day our trampoline blew away. So we've had just enough sun for the girls to be out and enjoying it here and there. The day we put it up was cold and rainy, but we had committed to doing it. So we sucked it up and did it. So it's up and the sun shone today in the last couple of days, so they've had some fun on that. We're just kind of continuing to enjoy our property. Not a lot of work has happened on the house.
Yeah, so the house has been mostly the same since last fall.
Time
we've been working and And they're little things.
They
They're
are.
not they're
They're
not
not the essentials to live. They're the
yeah.
finishing details.
And
Well, we do have a couple of sort of goals in mind for the fall. As everybody knows, gas prices are over the moon right now. So we're going to make some adjustments to how we heat our house,
yes.
which we had kind of already planned on, but this has given us some motivation to really look into it. So we have a couple of larger projects planned for the winter. One, just fixing up our heating, and two, continuing to just seal up some doors and stuff to avoid some heat loss.
Yeah, but the rest of it's really small stuff, so
Yeah.
not all that motivated sometimes to do that
No,
sort
but
of
we
thing.
will have to get to it at some point.
And then the other was we actually, so when we came, we just kept our insurance providers from before. We kind of transferred everything over from Ontario, and then in what would it have been, February maybe,
I can't remember.
we got a letter in the mail saying we need to make sure that all of these things, and it was quite a long list.
Probably at least a dozen or more.
Yeah,
which
things
we've never
that
received
we
from an
needed,
insurance company
needed
before.
to do to the house to adjust it. And some of them we had already done, and some of them we hadn't planned to do at all.
No.
And so
Some of them kind of took us back a bit. We were a bit surprised by it.
So I just started thinking, well, what would an insurance company that's on the island say? So we looked into PEI Mutual, which was something that was suggested through the Teachers Federation that I work with, but they work with all sorts of people here on the island, and they were able to insure us with not as many hoops to jump through as the.
I mean, still making sure that safety measures are
Yeah.
met and that we're a safe home to be in.
Yes.
But yeah, I was very confident about being able to insure us with less items that needed to be done.
And I think that was just because they work with homes here on the island all the time, as opposed to the company we had. It wasn't their specialty. So we appreciated being able to find somebody local.
And just again, just the knowledge of knowing you're supporting a local company.
Yeah.
We're trying to be conscientious of that. We want to be supporting the community that we are calling home.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So that's kind of an overall update of where we're at. Hopefully you're doing well as well and enjoying the springtime, and that you're able to get outside some and maybe do some gardening if that's your thing, or other things as well, jumping on some trampolines, who knows.
I also do want to say hello and welcome. If all has gone to plan for some of you, just following sort of your little bits that you shared with us, you started this journey to move to PEI, and I believe that some of you have since arrived on the island, if your timelines worked out. So if you are here, welcome. Maybe someday we'll bump into you.
Yeah, share with us a little bit about your journey, and we'd love to hear about it and swap stories back and forth.
Absolutely.
So enjoy your week, and we'll see you in a little bit.
And thanks for popping in.